Good evening, race fans. Welcome to tonight's race, the Legacy Sports Car Series, sponsored by Ledford Construction. Taking it to Sonoma Raceway today, the beautiful rolling hills. It's going to be a great time out here with the Legacy Sports Car guys. As always, I'm James East in the booth, bringing the action 1080p, 60 frames a second. And we're looking forward to another great race today, as currently drivers are out there for single car qualifying, having a great time, trying to put down the fastest laps in this 15-minute open qualifying. You're watching Alex Penn, one of the LMP2 drivers, rocking the number 30 today. He's going out there and trying to hot lap just a little bit. If this is your first time watching this series, it is a 15-minute open qualifying setup, followed by a 45-minute long straight race where all these guys are going to be hanging out on their own. Usually a one-stop strategy for all cars involved, but the LMP2 class really heating up. You've got Casey Carrington, the number 9 machine. He's out there today. Alex Penn, the number 30, and Nick Terrell, the number 81. So a lot of fast guys trying to eke out some more points over their competitors. You still have Nick Terrell. He is the leader of the LMP2 class. Cody Ledford is in second. Kai Demarest, the current third place in points driver, unable to make it tonight, running the 4-hour charity event with his teammate Michael Hayward. So both of those guys are out there at Charlotte racing their Cadillac, trying to win a little bit of money for charity and support a great cause. You've got Alex Penn. He is 4th in points. He's out on track. Casey Carrington, 5th in points, out on track. So good to see a couple of these drivers getting back out there. For the Daytona prototypes, you've got Jumpin' Johnny Eckert and the number 90 machine. Eckert has a commanding lead in the Daytona prototype class. He's racing for Outlaw Racing. He's got 5 starts and 4 wins so far this season. So well done to see him out there. GT2 drivers, Mark Proctor and Andrew Neri, unable to make it to tonight. Proctor and Neri both out of town this weekend, so I don't think we're going to see any GT2 classes coming out to play, but we do have the GT1 of Kai Schappert. He is out there in the number 2 machine. Schappert is a relative newcomer here to the series, trying to get his feet wet into road racing, coming from a strong oval background. So good to see the young driver of the number 2. He's out there getting faster and faster every time he goes out. And something that people don't really take away a lot, if you're a primarily oval racer and you start doing road racing or vice versa, it really helps improve your racecraft and the other disciplines you run. So for Kai Schappert currently on screen, primarily an oval racer, but every series he runs in usually throws in at least one road course into the mix, so allows him to work on those right turns as well as his well-perfected left turns. And he's just going to get faster and faster. The more seat time he can get, doesn't matter what it's in. Schappert with a 1 minute 31 second, 0.22 second lap, his last time by. Current pole setter Alex Penn has put down a 122.69 in his Honda LMP2. So that shows just how much difference these drivers can have and how much these cars can carry different speeds around the beautiful hills of Sonoma. Casey Carrington, the number 9 machine, back out here for the LMP2s. He had to take a couple weeks off. He's a very busy guy running series of his own, as well as fielding endurance teams. At the last few weekends, iRacing has been putting on 24-hour endurance weeks back to back to back. So great seeing Carrington out here today and doing a fantastic job. Now you know who we are missing today. One of the fan favorites, Cody Mars Ledford. Ledford is a EMT when he's not a sim racing enthusiast, so he has been switched to night shifts. We checked in with him a couple nights ago and noticing we haven't seen him on track. Just want to make sure everything was all right with Ledford, and he said, yeah, I'm working night shifts now. It's tough saving lives and making dreams happen, so he's not been able to get on the sim as much as he wants to, but he's still supporting these guys with the Ledford Construction Company, and Always appreciate what Cody does for this league. He's a great guy on and off the track, and really all the guys here at Legacy Sports Cars, a lot of fun to run with. We run into a lot of these guys fairly often, brushing shoulders with them in different events we broadcast. It's a small family in this sim racing community, as everyone comes together throughout the week. Even if it's not their league, they're supporting their friends with their league and just having a lot of fun. And that's what it's about here at Legacy Sports Cars and pretty much every series we cover here at Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, having the most amount of fun that you possibly can with good, like-minded folks from across the world. As a reminder, there is a team championship out here for the Legacy Sports Car Series. You've got Outlaw Racing with 10 starts out front in the points chase. In second place, you've got Pinarchy. In third place, you've got Team Goon Squad, our top 3 teams fielding drivers for the Legacy Sports Car Series. Everyone running different classes, trying to maximize those points whenever they can. As we are about halfway through qualifying, we still have Penn on top of provisional pole with a 122.51. Carrington's best so far, a 124.11. So all of our LMP2 drivers doing a great job. Now let's keep an eye on Nick Terrell on the number 81. We know he's very, very fast in that Team Dodge CHT machine, but let's see what he can do out here today if he can get down a hot lap or two. As we take you on board with Terrell and the number 81 machine. So a couple points of interest. The right-hander you see Terrell hitting right now gets the cars very unsteadily, especially these high downforce LMP2s. If you get too much wheel up on that bumper, it can actually get the air underneath the car and quickly unsettle that race machine. So that's going to be a point to watch here. As well as these over-the-hill corners, the kind of a blind downhill left-hander in the middle of the track here that allows these guys to really have to focus. All these guys are practicing throughout the week and even leading up to the night's event, trying to get as much seat time as they can and get more and more comfortable out there. Sonoma Raceway, one of the older tracks these guys run, started building and breaking the ground in 1967 in the beautiful foothills of California. It cost a whopping $70 million to build this raceway, formerly known as Sears Point Raceway, as well as Infineon. It hosts the NASCAR Cup Series. They've got drag racing events, and they used to host the IndyCar Series from 2005 to 2018. They've raced AMA Superbikes, the FIA World Touring Car Challenge. So many prestigious events have been hosted here at Sonoma, and now the guys from Legacy Sports Car Series going to make their way around the virtual series the first time this season. As Terrell about 2 seconds off your pole setter, Alex Penn, trying to put down another fast lap time out there, see if he can eke away, maybe get by Carrington on the leaderboard. Today, again, we're at Sonoma Raceway. Next week, we're at Road America, but the week prior, we were at Montreal, where we saw a great race with Kai Demarest bringing home the overall win in the LMP2 class. Jumpin' Johnny Eckert and his Daytona prototype got second overall, first in class. And then we had some newcomers show up to the series. Maximilian Petrovsky, he was third overall in his first race of the season. We have not seen Maximilian come out here today, so I'm not sure what may be going on, but Kai Shepard, that was his race debut as well, as Terrell has a bit of a moment on track, holding on to the rear end of that LMP2, starting to step out, as well as Robert Hill Jr. made his first appearance last week. If you're watching along at home saying, hey, how do I get in here? We've always got a link to the Legacy Sports Car Series. Hop in their Discord. Have a great time. It is a free-to-enter league, and you have the option of purchasing some cheap cars to get out in the action. Some of the cars are as cheap as $3 to get out here and enjoy the shenanigans. You've got 4 classes to choose from: LMP2, Daytona Prototype, GT1, and GT2, so a little bit of something for everybody. LMP2 class is made up of the Honda ARX 01Cs, one of those $3 cars we talked about. The Daytona Prototype class, they've got the Riley Daytona Prototype, another $3 car. GT1 consists of the Aston Martin and the Chevrolet Corvette. Those are about $12 each, and then the Ford GT2 makes up the loan car and the GT2 class, a $12 car. So you've got 2 different options of $3 race machines to get out here and join in the fun, broadcasted every Saturday live as, oh no, Terrell goes for a bit of a ride, and that may be the end of his qualifying run. Terrell did get that lap time down to a 1:23.67, his fastest so far this race. He finds himself about 3 tenths off from Casey Carrington, currently second overall in qualifying and second in class for the LMP2. And we're going to watch newcomer Kai Shepard, the number 2 machine, in the Aston Martin, see what he can go out there and do in his GT1. He's put down a personal best, a 1:30.21 so far at Sonoma. And let's see what he can do out here today. Let's see what Kai with the Shappy Edits sponsored race machine can do out there today, getting more and more familiar with the track. Kai was fairly quick at Montreal last week, but did have a little bit of problems holding on to his race car several times. I think that's just going to be a little bit of a learning curve as the primarily oval racer comes out here for a road series and puts down to the best of his abilities. And let's see what he can do this time by, if he can improve his best. I think qualifying should be wrapping up. So Shepard may be happiest with a 1:30 as he will not be able to best his previous last time. Now Kai's also a relative newcomer to sim racing in general. Joining March 18th is when he joined the service. He has a whopping 22 official road starts and 31 oval starts. So Kai has been happy as he's been doing a whole lot of league racing where the racing can generally be the cleanest. So let's see, we're going to get ready to bring qualifying to a close and send our drivers out on track for the 45-minute feature event here today. While we're doing that, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back, but don't get anywhere, and we're going to get this thing ready to start and take our featured drivers to the grid. All right, we're back with tonight's main event. You've got Alex Penn starting up front, Casey Carrington starting second overall, Nick Terrell starting third, Johnny Eckert fourth, and you've got Kai Shappert, the fifth car, out on track today. So let's see what these drivers can do and what type of show they can put on for everybody. As we get ready to send them out. So a smaller field, a lot of drivers doing these 24-hour races that iRacing has been providing. And then some of the drivers doing the 4-hour charity event that iRacing has put on as well. So good to see the guys make it out when they can. As we're going to take them out behind that iRacing safety car and send these drivers out for 45 minutes, guaranteed to be a good time as always. It's going to be Alex Penn, Casey Carrington up front, Nick Terrell, Johnny Eckert starting in the second row, and then Kai Shappert all on his lonesome in the Aston Martin. He'll be starting fifth on the third row. Expecting another great race from all of these guys. They're very, very quick, but it's going to be a game of consistency. Can Terrell, who did not have the qualifying time that he wanted today, get out front and try and score some more points and extend his points lead? Or will Alex Penn, Casey Carrington be able to upset that winning streak from Terrell and maybe get some of their first wins for the season? We're going to wait for those lights to shine in the middle of your screen to signify that the green flag is out. The pace car will lead these competitors around for their final spotting lap, and then we'll send them on their way. As always, thank you to everybody that tunes in from across the world, supporting your favorite drivers, your favorite league, and one of your favorite broadcasters. We couldn't do it without you guys. We always appreciate those that tune in and cheer on your favorite driver. Helps the driver know, hey, you know, the fans, the friends, and the family have my back, as we try and get all these guys the most TV time we can, as they are always out there trying to improve their racecraft, impress their sponsors, and win the different leagues they run all year round. As those LMP2 guys are getting ready to release all the horsepower at once. Now, Alex Penn, your current race leader, once this green flag stops, he just came back from a whole lot of driving school, the Skip Barber Driving School at Lime Rock. So Penn taking that real-life experience, coming back to his sim rig, and maybe see if he'll maybe learn some new tricks from the guys. Pace car is in. We're going to get them formed up. All eyes on Alex Penn, Casey Carrington, your front row. And away they go. Alex Penn, Casey Carrington both get a great launch. Carrington trying to make something on the outside happen already here at turn 1 of Sonoma. But Alex Penn's going to hold on to it into the short uphill, into the right-hander. Nick Terrell, he's trying to get closer as well on the number 81 machine. Terrell did not have the qualifying session that he wanted to tonight, but he's going to do his absolute best to get up there quickly early on as he's chasing Alex Penn. Casey Carrington, your new race leader. But you've got a great onboard from Terrell, who's watching his friends and competitors. Oh no, Terrell has a big moment, goes for a ride. And Terrell, the number 81 machine, in big, big trouble early on. We'll try and grab the Ledford Construction sponsored replay. But that is bad, bad news for the number 81 machine early on. Let's get to the replay of that one. Watch Terrell. He's in the all-black number 81. Back end just steps out, and he gets all 4 tires off the ground and then hits that safety fence, able to avoid the porta-john in the infield for the flag station. But a rough night early on for Terrell in the 81. You hate to see it. He's such a great guy. Casey Carrington, your race leader, doing a great job. Nick Terrell still having a rough time back there, currently 5th on track. He has another off track in a moment. He's probably facing a damaged race car now. So Carrington will get the first lap led here at Sonoma. Alex Penn in tow, and number 30 machine. Both of these guys are very talented and smart drivers, trying to just play it safe, see what the other guy can do, and then maybe working on hot lapping a little bit. Now, a common theme we've seen here for the Legacy Sports Car guys is drivers will get into a bit of a groove as the run goes on, start putting down faster and faster lap times, and then you can quickly find some of these guys having a big moment and possibly ruining their race going off track. Let's see what's going to go on here as Alex Penn is just watching and waiting, seeing what Carrington and the number 9 machine can do. They've got a long race ahead of them, 45 minutes long. So nobody's going to have to want to push too hard too early on. Everybody's going to play it very safe. You can expect to see these drivers pitting around the halfway mark here tonight. Come in for 4 fresh tires and a tank of fuel in these LMP2s. Third place overall, you've got Johnny Eckert leading the Daytona prototype class out there just clicking off laps. His last time by was a 1 minute 29 second compared to the LMP2's low 124s. You've also got Kai Schappert in his Aston Martin. He's out there currently running 4th overall, first in class. And just as Kai passes the crash zone where Terrell had that big off in his LMP2 machine. And that was a great shot showing just how much of a gap those LMP2s in the background have over the rest of the field. They're staying glued nose to tail, clicking off laps. As Alex Penn still watching Carrington's number 9 machine. Carrington finds himself about a half a second over Alex Penn and the number 30 LMP2. Penn trying to get just a little bit closer whenever he can. As Penn that opening lap, he was about 0.8 seconds down. He's worked it back down to about a consistent 0.6 second the last couple of laps. Just trying to keep Carrington in his sights, maybe possibly trying to force Carrington into a mistake here at Sonoma as Carrington gets a lot of air off that inside curb. Those LMP2s, they are very high downforce cars. If you take the air off of them, they can quickly find themselves all sorts of unsorted. As these guys are put on an absolute show at Sonoma. Everyone doing a great job. We've had one incident from Terrell in the LMP2, but other than that, it's been pretty clean sailing for everybody. Terrell did come into pit lane on lap 3. Excuse me, his first time lap, actually, to try and get some repairs done on that. So Penn still staying right in tow of Carrington, trying to just keep pressure on Carrington as the run develops. Neither of these guys are going to try and push too hard too early on. Nobody wants to make any mistakes. This will be the third start for Carrington this season, as well as Alex Penn. Carrington, with his 2 starts previous, he has a third at Road Atlanta and a second at Daytona. But he is still searching for that elusive first win. And speaking of first win, Alex Penn, your current second place runner, he is also looking for his first win. He's been second on the podium 2 times this season. Out of 2 starts, he got second at the Red Bull Grand Prix, and he also got a second at Road Atlanta earlier this season. So good to see Penn back out there and charging hard. We know he has the ability to be one of the fastest guys out there. And this will improve their chances of catching Nick Terrell in the number 81 machine, as we saw him go off track. Right now, Penn and Carrington, they were about 800 points down from the leader, but Terrell not having the race that he wanted today, and that big off track, that's going to really hurt the points chase. These guys are all trying to tighten up that gap to Terrell and race the seasons when they're able to, when time allows and team obligations allow them. But still going to be Terrell out front in points, Cody Ledford second, Kai Demarest third for the LMP2, as Alex Penn, Casey Carrington running almost neck and neck for 4th place in the team chase. This is round 6 out of 12, so we are at the halfway mark so far this season at the completion of today's event. Still lots of racing left to go. So again, next week we're at Road America, but this thing runs all the way till September 11th, where we end it on Homestead Miami Speedway Road Course B, where the championship will be decided. Nick Terrell, he's back out on track. He's about 1 lap down from his competitors, but he's out there chugging along. He was in and out of the pit lane relatively quickly, getting that car taped back together, hammering some bodywork back into place. Terrell's last time by a 124.33. Your race leaders, Carrington and Penn, have dropped into the mid to low 123s. So all these guys pushing hard early on. Like we said earlier, they're going to keep getting faster and faster until you may see somebody have a moment. But let's check out Kai Shappert in the number 2 machine. And his Aston Martin clicking off some laps here today. Kai finds himself about 17 seconds back from 3rd place overall, Johnny Eckert, but he is still first in class, and he has a 22-second advantage over Nick Terrell's number 81 Honda LMP2. So with these longer format races, I should say, no matter what's going on, you can still find yourself battling someone at some point, as it's a diverse group of drivers, talent, as well as cars. So a lot of different pace that'll be shown out here today, either because of the car's ability or the driver's ability, which always provides excitement for everybody. Maybe some unwanted excitement for some of our drivers, but that is part of it out here with multi-class racing. Carrington, Penn still battling hard out front. 0.7 of a second separates your race leaders right now. Chapper doing a great job in number 2 Aston Martin, out there just clicking off laps. His last time by was the fastest he's done all race long, with a 1 minute 30.75 second lap time. Alex Penn, your second place overall, second in class as well. We've talked about earlier that he does the Skip Barber driving schools. He was at Lime Rock this past week. He's also an avid go-kart racer. He's using his sim racing experience to progress his real-life career. It is much cheaper to hop on here at the Legacy Sports Car Series, run some laps in some very fast cars, and if you do have a moment, the repair bill is astronomically smaller with sim racing. So good to see these guys using it as a training tool and not so much a game, as they are out there still clicking off laps. Last time by, Carrington with a 1 minute 23.46 compared to Penn's 1 minute 23.69. These guys still just getting faster and faster as the fuel starts to burn off in these LMP2s. And one of the best parts of broadcasting these events, they're usually some of the cleanest races you can find. You don't have that many big incidents. It's guys out there hot lapping, trying to progress their racecraft and just getting better and better. As Penn's starting to get very, very close to the back bumper of Carrington's number 9 machine. Not sure if we're going to see a pass here in this fuel window, or if he's going to be happy riding it out and just keeping a clean race car underneath him. Over a 45-minute game. Oh no, Penn has a moment. He goes off track. Able to hold on to it, but that allowed Carrington to get a moment to breathe and extend that lead to about 2.3 seconds going into the right-hander. Penn's going to take a second to collect himself here. And no harm, no foul. Let's get that Ledford Construction sponsored replay for you. Alex Penn it could have been the inside tires. It's hard to tell there. Maybe got that car unsorted, just dropping half a wheel into the dirt. And it looks like he was a little bit loose coming out of the corner. And just like that, a whole lot of off-road action. Those LMP2 drivers very quick on asphalt. Not so much in the sandy hills here in California. So good to see Penn able to get back out there, get the dirt off the tires, scuff them up a little bit, and kick off all that debris. As Casey Carrington, his last time by, the fastest so far of the race, a 1 minute 23.3. Alex Penn, currently second place, finds himself 2.4 seconds back from race leader Casey Carrington. Johnny Eckert in the number 90 Daytona prototype, just clicking off laps. His last time by, a 1 minute 28.5. Also his best race of the session, as everyone's still getting more familiar out there and getting more and more comfortable. All of these guys very, very talented. Nick Terrell, he's moved back up into 4th overall, getting around Kai Shappert's Aston Martin GT1. Johnny Eckert, number 90, making it look easy. Eckert, another guy that does a whole lot of oval racing and maybe not quite as much road racing as we've seen him do at other leagues, but he's been very, very comfortable in just about any car you throw him in and making it look pretty clean in the number 90, just getting progressively faster. Let's see what his time is this time by, coming down the start-finish line straight away here at Sonoma. See if he can best a 1 minute 28.5 or if he's still going to be searching for time. He does not get to that time by a 1 minute 29.51, so about 1 second right on the button off of his best lap time. Nick Terrell, number 81 machine, still working his way back up there. He is 17 seconds in, closing fast behind Johnny Eckert's number 90 machine. Now Terrell should have plenty of time to keep chipping away at laps and at least get his third place in class back. He's got him, he just has Johnny Eckert in the Daytona prototype class in front of him. So then he should be able to get around to Eckert in about 3 more laps if their times stay the same. But man, let's talk about this. Alex Penn, number 30, puts down the fastest lap of the race with a 122.99. So almost a 123 flat. Penn is starting to find more and more speed. He is caught back up to Casey Carrington, and we saw earlier when Penn had the off track, he was about 2.5 seconds back. He's whittled it down to about 3/4 of a second, and he sees Carrington in front of him, and he wants to make something happen here after having that moment, getting a little bit frazzled up, taking a lap to get himself collected again. But I think you're about to see Alex Penn, the number 30 machine, drive the wheels off that LMP2 and charge forward up to Casey Carrington. Let's see, Alex Penn just keeps getting faster and faster. He found himself about a half second slower his last time by, but now he does have Carrington in front of him as well, so he knows, hey, I don't have to push too hard. I'm in the prime time spot. I think what you might see is Alex Penn, currently second place overall, the number 30 machine, the LMP2. I think he's going to follow your race overall leader as well as class leader for the LMP2s, Casey Carrington's number 9 machine. Just keep him within sight, stay nice and close, and then try and click off that pit stop together. And then once they get past the halfway mark of this 45-minute feature event, then you'll see the drivers really starting to try and make something happen here. For now, they're going into it with an endurance mindset of slow is fast, fast is smooth. And just trying to keep a clean car underneath them up towards the end. Kai Shepard has went a lap down from the race leaders, Carrington and Alex Penn. Still leading his class in the GT1s, though. As poor Casey Carrington just abusing those pit end cones every single time, using them as a bit of a brake marker, and also helps to unsettle the guys behind you as they can find their brake marker now being punted off the racetrack. Carrington last time by with a 1 minute 23.56 second lap time compared to Penn with a 1 minute 23.33 second lap time. But Penn looks like he's getting closer and closer to the back of the number 9 machine. We are approaching the halfway mark, so we may see some drivers go for an undercut here. I don't believe there's going to be much fuel saving from either of those competitors with how close they are running. I don't think you're going to see anybody trying to stretch it out longer than they have to. So if they're going to box, they're probably going to box at the exact same time. But Casey Carrington, the number 9 machine, after taking a few weeks off, has been putting on a dominant show out here today. Both of these drivers searching for their first race win. Nick Terrell, he's about a minute 17 back from these guys, so even with 25 minutes remaining left in the race, I'm not sure if you're going to see Terrell have enough time to get up here. Casey Carrington, knock on wood, has not had an off track so far this race. Alex Penn with a 1X, Terrell with a 5X, Kai Shepard with a 1X as well, and I think just as we say that, Shepard has a bit of a moment. Let's grab that Ledford replay for you. Just too much dirt on the too much tire on the dirt on the inside of the raceway. Sent him sliding around. Kai gets quite unsettled. Able to lock it up, all that training coming into play, and keeps a clean race car. That's the most important thing out here. Casey Carrington still getting another lap led here at Sonoma. Alex Penn in tow. Expecting them to box the next few laps for their one and only fuel stop of the race. Still, less than half a second separates your overall leader and class leader, Casey Carrington, from second place, Alex Penn. Nick Terrell has moved his way back into third overall. Johnny Eckert, the number 90 Daytona prototype, is on pit lane, taking 4 tires and a tank of gas. So he'll be the first car for the mandatory pit stop for that fuel window. Now, Nick Terrell, he should be able to stay a little bit longer than his competitors, as he did come in early for a tire and fuel stop to get that car worked on. But I'm not sure if you're going to see Terrell able to get up here and battle for the leading time soon. He's still about a minute 17 seconds back from your race leaders, Carrington and Penn, who have been running nose to tail the entire race. Penn did have one big moment and maybe scared himself a little, but look at that. Alex Penn's going to bring it into pit lane. Casey Carrington's going to stay out. So Casey Carrington is going to be all by his lonesome here at Sonoma for one lap. Now what's going to be interesting is Penn came in first out of those lead LMP2 drivers for his... Uh-oh. We're showing Alex Penn with a crash. Alex Penn has messed up the pit box. Oh, that is going to be huge for the number 30 LMP2 driver. So Penn tried to take it off track by accident, and that is going to rapidly slow down his pit stop. We're going to get you a replay once more of it, but that is going to be a big race changer here. So Alex Penn at the top of your screen, you can see, looks like he tries to go off the track or back out on the start-finish line straight away. And takes a wrong turn here at Sonoma. Penn completely, oh, that was a huge mistake from the young driver. So Penn is back out there, but that was a much longer pit stop than he really needed. He was in and out in 41 seconds is what it's reading, but that is going to be massive. Now let's keep an eye on Casey Carrington's number 9 machine. Now if Carrington can just avoid any mistakes on the pit lane, he should have quite the advantage over Alex Penn after he comes out. But this is going to really switch things up. These guys were glued. Casey Carrington, your race leader, and Alex Penn, who's now still in second. A blanket could separate those two drivers for the majority of the race, but Penn with that huge moment on pit lane. Kai Shepherd in and out of his pit lane, his pit box as well, getting some repairs done on the number 2 machine and going back out on track. Casey Carrington still punishing those cones in the final right-hand corner at Sonoma. Carrington's last time by a 123.65. He still has not pitted yet. Behind Casey Carrington, you've got Johnny Eckert, the number 90 Daytona prototype driver. Excuse me, that's Nick Terrell in the number 81. Terrell is still third overall, but it is only two drivers on the lead lap right now. Casey Carrington, Alex Penn, your LMP2 drivers. We're going to take a look at Alex Penn, who's about 54 seconds back from Casey Carrington. His pit time was normally 41 seconds. So if Carrington can do everything right on pit lane, he should still come out on track about 15 seconds ahead of the young driver Alex Penn, the number 30 machine. Penn's last time by a 123.50. So slightly faster than race leader Casey Carrington as Penn comes out on fresh tires. Casey Carrington makes his way into pit lane, so let's keep an eye on Alex Penn. Is he going to come out close? Is Carrington going to come out close to Alex Penn, or is he still going to have a 15-second advantage over second place overall Alex Penn, the number 30 LMP2? Carrington has made his way into his pit box. Carrington is back out on track. He's about 20 seconds ahead over. Well, we're still waiting for live time to update here. As Carrington's back out on track, he should be about 15 to 20 seconds ahead of Alex Penn, the number 30 machine. Yeah, and 15 seconds right on the money is what Casey Carrington, your overall race leader, has over Alex Penn. Let's see. They've got about 15 minutes left in today's feature event. Can Alex Penn find the time? Or will Casey Carrington in the number 90 machine keep it clean all the way around and avoid any costly mistakes? Because Alex Penn, as unfortunately, he was in a great position to at least battle for the lead towards the end, but that pit lane incident cost him 15 entire seconds. In front of Alex Penn, you've got Kai Shapper, number 2 machine, racing the Aston Martin, who is a lap down from these race leaders. 3 drivers still on the lead lap. What's taken on board with Alex Penn shows you how quickly he's able to get around some of these lap traffic, as he will quickly catch Kai Shapper in the GT1 class as they drive up the hill into turn 1 at Sonoma. Penn very, very smooth out here today. As you can hear, very little tire chatter coming out of that LMP2 machine. Doing a great job keeping the traction where it goes. Kai Shapper moves to the high side, allowing Alex Penn around. Nothing but respect among all of these racers out here, especially in open multi-class events. You got to know when to give and take, as Penn with still a 13-second disadvantage to race leader Casey Carrington. Nick Terrell in the number 81 machine, he's about 30 seconds back from second place Alex Penn. Terrell's last time by was the fastest lap of the race with a 1 minute, 22 second, .96 second lap time. So he's absolutely flying out there, starting to get a groove, but unfortunately that early incident where he had the off track, a big moment for the 81, sustaining a little bit of car damage where he had to come in and get some repairs done, may have very well hurt his championship run here, as he's going to have to come in the pit lane to top off on fuel. "13 minutes left to go for this driver. Casey Carrington, your race leader, a 12.75 second gap over second place Alex Penn. As Carrington's out there just clicking off laps, being very smooth, very consistent. As Alex Penn, number 30 machine, the LMP2 driver, doing his best to just click off laps and try and whittle away at that 13-second gap that Carrington now holds over Alex Penn. Alex Penn, though, had another moment, a bit of an off-track. Penn not having the race that he wants here today. He does it again, so Penn just really struggling here later on the run today. It's unfortunate because the driver is normally so consistent, so quick, but just having a bit of problems. He's still only about 13 seconds back from Casey Carrington, but he would need to pretty much gain a second per lap over your race leader Carrington to whittle away that gap with the timing remaining. 11 minutes left in the race. Each lap is about a minute 24 from these drivers. So they've got less than 8 laps remaining for these competitors. I don't know if Alex Penn's going to have enough time out there to do it on his own merit. Or is he going to be hoping and praying that Carrington, number 9 machine, makes a mistake? Penn still trying to score some much-needed points for his Team Penarchy effort. That's Penn. He's still whittling away at that gap down to about 11 seconds between himself and a race leader, Casey Carrington. But just not enough time remaining for the number 30. He's got to be praying that Carrington makes a mistake up there in his LMP2 if he wants any chance of that overall win and his first class win of the season. Meanwhile, Carrington up front is backed off the pace just a little bit. He knows he has quite a gap over Alex Penn, still holding at 10 seconds. But he just wants to be very smooth and very consistent out here today to try and get his first race win in the number 9 LMP2. Oh, and just like that, Alex Penn, a huge moment, back off track, sending the LMP2 sliding around. He's still got plenty of safe track to get his machine pointed the right direction, but man, oh man, Alex Penn having a rough time today. As we're going to follow along with Penn bobbing in his seat, having a good time. He's got the earbuds in while he's rocking that LMP2, but let's see what happens here. And he goes for quite the wild ride. able to keep it off of any sort of walls. The poor spectators having a fantastic view of the LMP2 driver. Backs it back on track, but no harm, no foul as far as damage goes. But unfortunately, that is going to all but end the night of Alex Penn, number 30, as Casey Carrington, your overall race leader, has a 22-second gap. And Carrington knows what happened. He keeps an eye on his relative. He talks to his crew chief and spotter, and he's going to know, all right, Penn had another big moment. All I have to do right now is back it off just a little bit, and I can bring it home for a win. But we've seen incidents mar good race results here before the Legacy Sports Car Series, so it just takes one moment from Carrington to find himself not having the night he wants. He is probably the cleanest driver, the LMP2 driver we've had all night, having no off tracks compared to Penn and Terrell, who have both had big moments. Terrell had that single car incident and crash early on tonight, and Alex Penn has had more than his fair share of off tracks and out of control moments. So Casey Carrington is going to keep his nose clean and keep his head down, try and click off some laps, get that race win, the first of the season for him. Carrington, he still has a 20-second advantage, but I believe we've got Kai Schappert might have had a moment too. Schappert, the number 2 machine, running into a little bit of problems out there. Schappert, one of the newer drivers here at Legacy Sports Cars, trying to come into his own as far as road racing goes. And I've got to say, this has been one of the most enjoyable development series for some of these drivers to hop into. It's a cheap entry, and ooh, Schappert sends the back end of that Aston Martin drifting around, ripping the E, but still, again, no big damage out of the number 2 machine, able to keep it relatively clean. Carrington out front with a 20-second advantage. It's about 5 minutes left to go in today's feature event. It's a great view as Carrington using the onboard camera to hit every cone he possibly can on this raceway and gets a little bit close to that inside wall, but holds on to it quite well. Nick Terrell, the 81, he has a moment as well. Let's see what happens to the number 81 Team Dodge CHT driver going into turn 1. We've seen this turn kind of really hurt some of these LMP2 drivers here tonight. And no, I think it's going to be turn 2 where he sends that back end sliding around, gets too much dirt under the wheel and helps him out. And he's going to spin out right in the race line. Thankfully, this field is a bit spread out. Otherwise, you could have seen some big cautions. And he rips the gas to get it spun around. But that sand here at Sonoma does not have a whole lot of traction to get you pointing the right way. And then it takes at least a few corners to try and get things sorted and point in the right direction. Casey Carrington, he still has a 17.5 second gap. Carrington's backed way off the throttle. His last time by was a 1 minute 25.66. Let's see what it is this time. So these guys are almost 3 full seconds off their personal best of the race as they're realizing, hey, I get to take it easy here. No point in trying to throw away a commanding lead. As Carrington back on the gas with a 1 minute 24.88. Ahead of him, he's got Nick Terrell, who I believe may still be having a couple problems showing off track. As Carrington's going to catch lap traffic once more, you can expect to see Terrell to give him the preferred line and let him by nice and easy. And a good point of note, Carrington, not the fastest hot lapping LMP2 track out on there. His fastest of the race was a 123.3 compared to Alex Penn and Nick Terrell, who were blowing high 122s or almost 123 flats. But Carrington has been the utmost consistent today at Sonoma, able just to click them off and keep it clean. As it's about 2 minutes left in today's feature event, Alex Penn, he is still 16 seconds back from race leader Casey Carrington. Carrington's backed off the throttle a little bit, doing a 125 flat his last time by. He does have lap traffic ahead of him, so he's going to be very, very careful on when and where, or even if he makes any moves here this late into the race. As Alex Penn was about 6 seconds of a lap faster than Casey Carrington his last time by, but still a 15-second gap as time is rapidly closing. It is Casey Carrington's race if he can keep it clean at the closing laps at Sonoma. All these guys doing a fantastic job out here today. As it's still Casey Carrington, your overall in class leader. Alex Penn, the LMP2 drivers in second. Nick Terrell, another LMP2, he's third overall. You've got Johnny Eckert, he's leading his race in the Daytona prototype class. Eckert's been very smooth all night. His fastest lap of the race was a 127.98. And he's been clicking off high 127s, low 128s all race long in that Daytona prototype, just chugging along, having a great time. Kai Shapper in the GT1 class, currently leading his class as well, fifth overall. But we are on the closing laps here of Sonoma. Less than 10 seconds remaining in tonight's race. It's going to be Casey Carrington next time he comes by. Will win for the first time this series here at the Legacy Sports Cars Series, sponsored by Ledford Construction. And Carrington, the story all night has been consistency, 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 as the number 9 machine has been flawless so far today. Track cones punted out of the way notwithstanding. And that shot right there really shows you the elevation we have here at Sonoma. A lot of uphill, downhill, blind corners, and apexes. But Carrington's going to bring down that back right sweeping turn for the final time into the horseshoe. And then he will cross the line for the final time at Sonoma to bring home his first win of the season. Put your hands together. Casey Carrington and the number 9. His very first win here at the Legacy Sports Cars Series. An overall winner tonight in his Honda LMP2. The number 9 is going to bring it home. Alex Penn in the number 30 machine will get second place overall and in class. And then Nick Terrell will round out the LMP2s and third overall. Then you've got Johnny Eckert, the number 90, your class winner for the Daytona prototype, as well as Kai Shapert in the number 2, the Aston Martin, out there running a relatively clean race, not having as many problems as he had in the past, getting more and more consistent as the season progresses. Alex Penn having a good time after his races come to an end, seeing how many tires he can get off the ground in that LMP2. And just giving it the business. So Casey Carrington's going to pull over for his victory burnouts. And we're going to try and get these drivers up to the podium booth for their speeches here today. So we'll be waiting on Kai Shappert, Johnny Eckert, and Casey Carrington to make their way up. We did get a report that Johnny Eckert may be having microphone problems here today. So up first, we're going to get Casey Carrington bringing home his first ever win here for the Legacy Sports Car Series. Casey, I don't know if you're the absolute fastest LMP2 driver, but you were hands down the most consistent today.
Yeah, well, I certainly wasn't the fastest, but I don't know how I didn't wreck going up through that uphill. I mean, I'm sure you saw on the broadcast how much faster Alex was than I. It was like driving on ice for me up through there. But yeah, somehow I kept it on the track and was able to outlast everybody else.
Well, it's a treacherous track, and those LMP2s, if you get any sort of arrow off of them or get air underneath when you're not expecting it, we know, as we've seen from the other drivers out there today, they can come rapidly spinning around. Did you do any setup changes before tonight to try and make it a little bit more grippy in those low-speed corners, or did you just run the same setup you have been in the past and just held on for dear life?
Oh, yeah, I took a Road Atlanta setup and then just maxed out the downforce. I mean, there's that final corner before you get to the last hairpin, that thing is so sketchy, especially on cold tires. You just got to do what you can to max out the grip. So that's definitely what I was doing before the race, just trying to get it as grippy as possible.
Well, you looked great out there. The setup changes obviously helped you out because you were very consistent. I don't believe you had any off tracks that I saw from up here in the booth tonight and kept it clean. But before we let you sign off tonight and celebrate, who would you like to give a shout-out to that's supporting you on and off the track?
Well, Joseph, first off, for putting this league together. Nick, my teammate in All-American ARCA, he sent me the Road Atlanta setup that I tweaked. So big thanks to him and Kai, Johnny, Alex, everybody else that showed up, and of course you for broadcasting.
Well, always a pleasure, man. Hope to see you up in the booth more often in every broadcast we do for you guys, and always a pleasure, Casey.
Absolutely.
Up next, you've got Kai Shappert bringing it home in the GT1 class. Had a couple of moments, but it looks to me, my friend, that you're getting more and more familiar with this road racing thing you're hopping into.
Yeah, road racing is definitely something I got used to the past couple of years. Took a break, went to Oval League racing, started iRacing about March time frame, so just did Oval, got used to that. The car was really rough. It kind of handled like a NASCAR today, like a cup car, and it did not like the chicanes. I was using the Suzuka setup, and it was not comfortable on any of the chicanes or anything like that.
Now, when you say not comfortable and drives like a cup car, does that mean the brakes don't work and it's all around not fun to drive, or is it something different you're referring to?
The brakes were, so going up the uphill, it was really uncomfortable under braking, so I'd almost have to start at the base of the hill and then shift down from fourth all the way to first very, very slowly on the way up.
Well, you looked good out there. You're getting more and more comfortable. We know at last week at Montreal, saw you sliding around a couple times, and again, you had your fair share of moments today, but you just getting cleaner and cleaner. Are you doing much practice throughout the week, or is it just the race practices you're using to get more familiar out here?
I did a couple of officials this week. They were really good. Finished pretty high in some of the races that I was run. I didn't do any practice at Sonoma until today when the practice session opened up. But I will say, like, the struggle part of GT1, like today, was not having anybody else to like compare yourself to. So I was kind of comparing myself to Johnny Eckert on his lap times, and it didn't seem too far off.
Yeah, it was like your best was a 129.7 compared to Eckert with a 127.98. So depending on the track, you guys can usually run pretty close together. But I've got to say, Kai, it's always a great time having you up here, getting cleaner and cleaner. I hope to see you do well again next week, as well as all your oval races we see you doing broadcast for you. Before I just sign off, who would you like to give a shout out to that may be supporting you out there tonight?
Definitely my sponsors, Jerky Pro, Benelli, Original Rebels Racing League. They all helped me get out here, and definitely the Air Force for giving me the time to come out and race, giving me good hours so I can come out and race, and then getting off early too. And then obviously you up in the booth. Tuesday and Saturday is my favorite days because I get to hear you up in the booth after I'm done racing.
Always a pleasure, Kai. Always a great time talking to you. Even if it's not in the podium booth, always a great time hanging out with all our guys here. And have a great night, man. We hope to see you do well throughout the week.
Appreciate you, James.
All right, up next, we're not able to get Johnny Eckert in the booth. Eckert has some sort of microphone and hardware issues, but who we do have is the world-famous Alex Penn in the number 30 LMP2. You got a copy here, Alex?
Yep, I got you.
Now, Alex, how do you make time between sim racing and multiple leagues throughout the week and also running the Skip Barber stuff and getting more seat time? How do you find time to hop in your sim rig and come burn some laps with us?
Really, it's just a lot of timing. Get practice in throughout the weekdays, and as we get closer to the weekend, a lot of the stuff just kind of falls in place with how the leagues are spaced out between each other.
Now, Alex, again, you do, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the Skip Barber schooling that you did at Lime Rock this week, right?
Correct.
Now, Alex, did they teach you about pit roads at Skip Barber?
They told us not to hit the wall, which
So-
I didn't do.
Yeah, you missed all the walls. It looked like you kind of took a wrong turn there and started to come back out on straight. Did you just get a little confused here at Sonoma, or what was happening there? Because it was confusing for us.
Yeah, I was looking at a yellow line on the right side of pit road and just kept following it, and eventually I found myself out back on the track.
Well, Alex, I'm giving you a hard time because you're such a fast and talented driver, and it really unfortunate tonight you had that mistake, and then all the LMP2 drivers were telling us it was very, very hard to hold on to him tonight and keep him from spinning around. Is that what you ran into as well with your number 30 LMP2 machine? Was it looser than you thought it was going to be, or was it just a tough track and car combination today?
Definitely a tough combination. Ended up losing the back end once. Just trying to push myself too hard to see if I could catch back up to Casey.
Well, Alex, always a great time talking to you, man. I know second place is not what you wanted tonight, but I know you stay so busy between your real-life racing as well as sim racing. It's just always an absolute pleasure to talk to you up here when we get the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right. Take care, Alex. We'll talk to you soon. And that is going to do it here for the Legacy Sports Car Series, sponsored by Ledford Construction at the virtual Sonoma Raceway. On behalf of TeamGoonsquad.com Broadcasting, I'm James East in the booth. Always a pleasure being up here and talking to such great and talented racers. Looking forward to it next week as well, where we're going to be back with the action. All of these sim racers getting back out there once more in this multi-class series at Road America next week. So don't miss any of the action. Have a great night, everybody, and we hope to see you next time.